So welcome to my channel. Thank you for all your support which you have provided to the various videos which I have uploaded. But there are few questions and I have one request. So first question was that communication language should be common, and I have decided that I will keep one communication the common language, that would be English. Okay, so that was one comment from one of the video, and second comment was they need the video on a ground terminal selection, and second was bundle diameter calculation. So of course I'm going to make these two videos on these two topics, but as I will get the time, I will make these videos. So these were the two questions from the you people. So one request which I have from you, that please keep liking the videos and comments. If you don't like the content also, you can just put the comment below, so that at least I will be aware and I will stop making those videos which are not helping to you. Okay, but please at least comment or like uh, in whatever way you want to give the feedback, so that I at least I will be aware that okay, this is the particular thing which I have to continue, and this is the particular thing which I need to stop. So without wasting the time, I'm just moving to the point to be discussed today. As you know from the title of this video, that I'm going to start, as I promised, on the capital logic schematics. Okay, so today I'm just starting one basic schematic on the starting system. So these are the points which I'm going to discuss. The basic overview of a starting system. So we will see what is the starting system. Then schematic as per capital logic. What are the requirement of creating the schematic in capital logic for this particular system? Then 2D drawing in capital XC. We will take one practical example. How the very small example of battery harness I will take, but at least you will understand that how this 2D drawing is made by the OEMs and then it goes to the supplier. Then we will see the 3D packaging of this starting system. So all the components which are used in the starting system, where all they are packaged and what are the harness are involved in that. So moving to the next slide. So we will see the starting system overview. So as its name suggests, starting system, so this particular system helps the engine to start. Okay, so for that starting the engine, there would be some requirement, minimum requirement to start the engine. Okay, and that is the 100 revolution per minute that engine should achieve, then only it can start. Okay, this is the general I'm taking. Okay, it might vary based on the cylinder of the engine which you are using, 2-liter engine also, or 4 cylinder, 2 cylinder, or 8 cylinder. So it might change based on the based on the cylinder, but I am taking one general example, that is 100 revolution per minute. So I take one example. So you might have seen many videos on starting system, but they take the general things. Okay, but if you go to the industry, then general things does not works there. You have to be very specific on based on data. Okay, so you see, I take one example of worst condition of -20 degree, 4 cylinder, 2-liter engine. So how much static fraction it requires, that is 480 newton meter, to overcome this static fraction, and then to maintain the minimum cranking speed of 100 revolution per minute, that is required 116 newton meter. Okay, this is the minimum requirement for the 4 cylinder 2-liter. For this particular data, I am going to see the starter motor requirement. So as I am taking this starting system, so definitely starter motor is going to use for this one. Okay, so in starter motor, the starter pinion to ring gear ratio I have taken 10:1 to make it easy to find out the value for the starter motor, what is the requirement. So motor must be able to produce maximum installed torque, torque of 48 newton meter, and driving torque should be 16 newton meter. Okay, this is the requirement from the starter motor. So we will see that how this starter, we have seen what is the function of the starter motor to start the engine. Now we will see how this starting system works and how it plays its role to start the engine. So I will just play one simple video where you will see some components in the of the starting system, and then we will move to the circuits. So if you can see here, this is our parking clutch switch or the neutrals. We have one neutral switch also. Okay, so here only one switch they have shown. This is my ignition switch, and this is my fuse box, this is my starter motor. If you see here, one second, let me If you see here, one minute. This is my fuse box, and if you see, this is my starter motor and this is my solenoid. If you see here, this which we were discussing, starter pinion to ring gear ratio. So basically this pinion basically engages with the flywheel ring gear to the engine, and then it start to the engine. Once it start the engine, then it disengage with the engine. It does not, most of the time it does not engage with the engine. Once your engine started, then it disengaged with the engine. So this is the only function, because it cannot revolute, it cannot give the revolution as per engine. Okay, engine revolution is much more. Okay, so it is necessary to disengage the starter motor, otherwise your starter pinion will get damaged. Okay, so now you might have seen few components. So this is my chassis ground, this is my neutral or park switch, this is my fuse box, where this is my 12 volt always here on the solenoid, and one I will show you T13 and T15, what are those terminal and what is the function. This is my starter motor, this is my solenoid also works as a relay, and this is my starter relay. Okay, so this is all about the components which are used in here. We will see in detail in this schematic. So I'm just moving to the next slide. So we will start from here. So you can see this is my battery. This is my battery. From battery positive, we will take one wire that is to the starter motor. So starter motor, here there are two parts. One is a starter motor, other one is the solenoid. So we will see that starter motor to battery positive, one particular terminal will be one cable would be always there from starter motor B positive. So if you see here, this is the actual starter motor. So there are one, two, three, four terminals. So I will tell you what are those terminals which we have seen shown here. So the second terminal which I have shown you, that is the main large battery cable positive from post from positive battery post. This is the our wire which sorry, this is the terminal which is going to connect from battery to this. This is the first thing. Second thing, you will see this we never use, never we never disassemble this also, this particular terminal we don't touch. Then there is a, you might be seen one connection from solenoid to the terminal, that would be a internal connection. Then there is a one S start wire terminal from start ignition switch. So this is the start ignition switch for, you know this one for solenoid. Okay, for the starter relay, this is my relay, this we call is starter relay. Okay, so I hope the battery is clear, these two terminals are clear. This second terminal is connected to battery, and which is battery positive, which is going to starter motor to give the current to starter motor most of the time. Then second, this first terminal is going from solenoid to this particular relay, that is starter relay. Okay, we will see what is the function. Okay, till here we are good. Then we went to this particular circuit, and this circuit is going to fuse. This is maxi fuse of 80 amps, and here we are just taking this particular fuse from here to here for this ignition switch. Okay, definitely there would be some more fuse. No direct fuse of 80 ampere is not required for ignition switch, but I just showed here that there would be power distribution from battery to ignition switch through some fuses. Okay, this would be the maxi fuse. So if you see the fuse, it would will look like this. Okay, and this is our filament on this fuse. So I think that this fuse purpose also you come to know what is the purpose of this fuse. Then we move to the ignition switch. So as you know, ignition switch already I have explained in one of the earlier video, that what is the purpose of ignition switch and what are the position. So first position would be off, where uh, you are just inserting the key. Then there would be off, you can say the lock also. Then accessory, then on, this is nothing but ignition on. And then start is nothing but crank. Okay, and this is the it will look like this: lock, accessory, on, start, pause. Okay, so I think this push is not a particular position or something. You have to just push your key when you are cranking your vehicle. So I think this particular thing you are aware that how this ignition switch is going to work. So now I'm going to crank my vehicle to start the starter motor. Okay, this is my purpose of this particular starting system. And why I want to start the starter motor? Because I want starter motor to give the minimum revolution to my engine to start the engine, right? This is my purpose. So what I have to do, I have done the ignition, I have kept the ignition switch purpose, the different position, different function. I can explain separately if you want to explain the ignition switch, what is the function of lock, accessories, on and start. Okay, then we went to the starter relay. Starter relay is used just so generally. What is the purpose of any relay? Basically, relay is used to control the high current with the help of lower current. Okay, so if you see this contact would be on a higher current and coil would be on a lower current. Okay, so this coil basically controls this particular switch. When this current will flow in this coil, then this particular switch will engage with this and it will make the connection till here. Okay, so suppose right now if my key is on condition, then this current will be till here. It will not go here because my coil is not ignited yet. Okay, once my coil will energized, then magnetic field will become generated, and this magnetic field will attract this switch to here and it will make the contact. I hope you are clear what is the function of relay and how it is working. So once you keep the position to start here, then what happens? Then this current will flow into the coil and this coil will energized, and once this will energize, then this will make the closed. Okay, now it is normally open. Okay, now it is normally open, but when the current will flow, then it will become like this. Okay, and then it will start your starter motor. And this solenoid also works as a relay only. This called the magnetic switch. And why it used here? To start the starter motor, to as a switch on the starter motor. You cannot give the high that much high current to the starter motor directly. Okay, so that is the purpose of solenoid. Now till here you understood, I hope, that relay, ignition switch, and then this one, starter motor. So these are the terminal. First terminal of ignition switch, then second and third. Then you might be seeing here also some terminal 86, 85, 87. So you always remember 86 and 85 would be on the coil side, and 30 and 87 will always would be on a contact side. Okay, you can see here also 12 volt 80 ampere. This is 86 and 85 would be on a coil side and it would be on contact side. Contact side would be on a high current and coil side would be a lower current. With the help of lower current, we are controlling the higher current. Now till here this wire is going, then here also clutch switch. So you might have heard that there is a we use the clutch switch and neutral switch. So when you are starting your vehicle, then clutch switch, you know what is the purpose of clutch switch? Clutch switch disengage or engage the transmission to the engine. Okay, suppose if you have pressed the clutch switch, clutch, if you press the clutch, then what it will do? It will disengage the transmission from engine. Okay, transmission to engine. So what it will happen? So there would be a lower load on a battery and your whole system on a battery or starter motor, because you are just disengaging your whole transmission system to the engine from the engine. Okay, so this is the purpose of clutch. Then neutral switch, you might also come across that when you are starting your vehicle, if it is in gear condition, then it does not start. Okay, so why it does not start? Now we will see here. So if you see here, there is a connection to the neutral switch as well. So here this particular neutral switch, what is the function of this neutral switch? So it but neutral switch confirm or neutral switch tells that whether your gear is in gear, your vehicle is in gear or it is in neutral. Okay, so whether it is engaged with any gear or it is in neutral state. Okay, if suppose it is in neutral state, then it will be closed, and this is the symbol which generally used for the vehicles and other vehicles, construction vehicles. So if it is in neutral state, then only it will be closed and it will make the path like this. Okay, so as I told you that when you press this particular position to the crank, then till here your circuit will be completed. Then this coil will start, but when it will start, when it will get the ground, and ground will get only when your clutch switch would be pressed. Okay, clutch switch would be, you know, on closed. Okay, it would be closed. So there are, there are condition where you have no need to press the clutch also, and if your vehicle is in neutral state, then it will start. Okay, but there are some condition where you have to press the clutch as well, then only your vehicle will start. Okay, so this depends on the vehicle to vehicle. It is not necessary that every time your clutch should be pressed or closed, then only. But this is one example which I am taking. If your sometimes you might have faced this condition when your clutch is not pressed, then your vehicle is not starting. So this is the reason why your vehicle is not starting when your clutch is not pressed. Okay, so your clutch switch is closed, neutral switch is also closed. Then it will get the ground to here. Once it will get the ground, then it will generate the magnetic field. Then this switch will be closed, and then starter motor will be started, and it will provide the revolution to the engine to start it. I hope you got my point here. So this type of the clutch switch is something like that. It will be on the transmission. And in neutral switch is also on transmission, and you might be seen this type of park, reverse, neutral, drive. Okay, these condition you might have seen in your car. And transmission range switch we call it, either neutral switch or transmission range switch. So park condition you can see, range, reverse you can see, neutral you can see, drive 1 and 2. Okay, so these are the positions where your transmission has the different position. But when you are starting your vehicle, then it should be in neutral, and if it is in neutral, then this switch would be closed, and this switch will make the path for the current to pass to the ground. Okay, now your question would be why these splices are required here. Okay, so you might have seen that when your clutch is not pressed, okay, or some issue is in the clutch, or your vehicle wants the clutch should be pressed. So this type of yellow color symbol comes into the cluster. So how it comes into the cluster? So this particular, from here we will give one splice. Splice is nothing but joint. Okay, we will give one joint and we will give to the instrument cluster. So it will tell to on instrument cluster here that both your clutch switch is engaged or not. Okay, if suppose it is coming on cluster, then you have to check whether your clutch is pressed or not. Similar to neutral switch also, if your vehicle is in neutral position, then in cluster, instrument cluster, it need to be, indicated whether your vehicle is in neutral or not. So this type of symbol comes in cluster as well, whether your vehicle is in neutral or not. Here also we have given one splice and we have taken one signal from here. Okay, so suppose if my neutral, it is in neutral condition and my switch is closed, okay, not open, then what it will make? It will make one path from here to here, and here one current will be available. Then in cluster it would be shown as a telltale. We call it indication or telltale. In the technical term we call it telltale. So that particular telltale will blink in the instrument cluster. But suppose if it is open, okay, if it is open, then here you will not get that particular voltage. Then this neutral indication or telltale will be off. So I hope you understood what is the process in this whole starting system. You will get this type of neutral switch. Okay, this is called our transmission range switch. Okay, where you have the different position. But here I just want to explain about neutral, then I have taken 1 and 2 only. Okay, you can see this starter motor also. So here T30 is permanent feed and T50 is our blade type connection, where it goes to here. This is our T50. Okay, then it is a ground. If you see here, it is necessary, and this type of terminal is used for the ground. Okay, so I hope you got the a basic overview of a starting system, how it is working, and what are the functions and what are the components which are necessary for a simple starting system. Here you can do lot of things also. There are a theft assist system also, so you can engage, like we have engaged here. We have connected this clutch switch and neutral switch. Suppose these two position, if it is closed, then only your vehicle will start, otherwise it will not start. Similarly, in theft system, what happens, we engaged by this coil one theft system also, where we will be having a relay and the connection. Then it will not start till it will encrypt the key. Okay, if it is getting some wrong code on the inhibitor switch, then it will not uh, start your engine. Okay, start not your starter motor will not start, so that your engine will not start. So I hope you understand here the starting system overview. In next slide, I will tell you how to make the starting system schematics for the starting system in capital logic. What are the things we have to keep in the capital logic to make this particular system, and then we will go to the 2D drawing and 3D overview of this particular starting system. So till here, if you have watched, so thank you for your time and effort you are giving to learn this whole series. So please like, subscribe, and comment if you like the content. And thank you. For this particular starting system schematic in capital logic, I will come in the next video. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.